Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a vast ocean, waves crashing against the shore with relentless power. But instead of diving in, you're dipping your toes, hesitant, watching others ride the currents to distant horizons. That ocean, it's the sea of financial opportunity. And right now, too many of us are stuck on the sand, paralyzed by old habits and limiting beliefs. What if I told you that the key to plunging in and swimming toward true wealth isn't about luck, inheritance, or even a high-paying job? It's about reshaping your mind. Today, I'm here to ignite that spark within you, to guide you through 3 profound wealth mindset shifts that will transform your money psychology and build habits that last a lifetime. These aren't quick fixes, they're enduring changes that speak to the core of how you think, feel, and act with money. Get ready, because by the end of this, you'll be equipped to rewrite your financial story. Let's start with the first shift, moving from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance. You know that nagging voice in your head, the one that whispers, "There's never enough." It shows up when you're staring at your bank account, debating whether to splurge on that coffee or save every penny like it's your last. Scarcity thinking is like carrying a backpack full of rocks. It weighs you down, making every decision feel like a battle for survival. But here's the truth: wealth isn't about hoarding, it's about flowing. Think of money as a river, not a stagnant pond. When you shift to abundance, you start seeing opportunities everywhere, not threats. Remember my friend Alex? He grew up in a household where money was always tight, bills piled up, and vacations were a distant dream. As an adult, he carried that scarcity into his career, pinching pennies so hard that he missed out on investing in himself. One day, he hit a breaking point, passed over for a promotion because he hadn't taken that online course he deemed too expensive. That's when he decided to flip the script. He began practicing gratitude for what he had, journaling daily about the abundance in his life, his health, his skills, even the free resources online. Slowly, he started allocating a small portion of his income to growth books, courses, networking events. Within a year, that investment mindset landed him a side hustle that doubled his earnings. You see, abundance isn't about having more money right now. It's about believing that more is possible and acting accordingly. So, how do you make this shift? Start small. Next time you're tempted to say, "I can't afford that," rephrase it to, "How can I afford that?" Challenge yourself to find creative ways to generate value. Maybe barter your skills or start a small gig. Surround yourself with stories of people who've built wealth from nothing. Read biographies of entrepreneurs like Sarah Blakely, who turned 5,000 into a billion-dollar empire with Spanx. Abundance thinking reprograms your brain to spot possibilities, turning potential roadblocks into stepping stones. And as you embrace this, you'll notice your habits changing. Saving becomes exciting, not restrictive, because you're building toward a fuller life. But abundance alone isn't enough if you're still trapped in the cycle of spending without purpose. That brings us to the second mindset shift, transitioning from a consumer mentality to an investor's perspective. Consumers see money as something to spend on fleeting pleasures, a new gadget here, a trendy outfit there, chasing highs that fade faster than a summer tan. Investors, on the other hand, view every dollar as a seed that can grow into a mighty oak. This shift is about delayed gratification, understanding that true wealth comes from assets that work for you, not impulse buys that drain you. Picture this analogy: your money is like a team of workers. As a consumer, you're sending them out to party every night, coming back empty-handed. As an investor, you're training them to build factories that produce more workers over time. I once knew a young professional named Mia who embodied the consumer trap. She earned a decent salary, but lived paycheck to paycheck, her closet bursting with clothes she wore once, her kitchen gadgets gathering dust. It wasn't until she faced a medical emergency that wiped out her savings that she realized the fragility of her habits. Shaken, she dove into financial education, learning about compound interest and passive income streams. Maya started small, just like you can. She automated 10% of her paycheck into a low-cost index fund, treating it as a non-negotiable bill to her future self. She cut out subscriptions she didn't use and redirected that money toward real estate crowdfunding apps. Over time, her investor mindset blossomed. She began evaluating purchases not by "do I want this?" but by "will this generate value?" A year later, her investments were yielding dividends, and she even started a blog sharing her journey, which turned into a revenue stream. The energy in her voice, when she talks about it now, it's electric. She went from feeling controlled by money to commanding it. You might be thinking, but I'm not a finance expert. That's the beauty of this shift. It doesn't require a Wall Street degree. Begin by educating yourself with accessible resources, podcasts like The Dave Ramsey Show, or books like Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Track your spending for a month and categorize it. How much is going to consumption versus investment? Then, commit to one investor habit. Maybe open a retirement account or buy your first share of stock. As you do, you'll feel a surge of empowerment, because every choice aligns with building lasting wealth. This mindset doesn't just change your bank balance. It rewires your psychology to prioritize freedom over fleeting joys. Now, with abundance flowing and an investor's lens sharpened, it's time for the third and most transformative shift: embracing a long-term vision over short-term temptations. Money psychology often tricks us into living for the now, that wow mentality that justifies maxing out credit cards for vacations or gadgets we forget about in weeks. But real wealth builders play the long game, seeing their financial journey as a marathon, not a sprint. This shift is about cultivating patience and resilience, understanding that compounding both in interest and habits is the secret sauce to enduring prosperity. Let me paint a vivid example with a story from history. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, didn't become a billionaire overnight. He started investing at age 11, but his real wealth exploded after 50 because of compounding. Imagine if he'd cashed out early for quick wins. He'd be just another forgotten trader. Instead, he held firm, letting time work its magic. You can do the same. Take my own journey. Early in my career, I was tempted by shiny objects, fancy cars, exotic trips funded by debt. It felt good in the moment, but it left me stressed and stagnant. Then, I adopted a 10-year vision. What did I want my life to look like a decade from now? financial independence, travel on my terms, security for my family. To make it real, I created a vision board, not just pictures, but specific goals with timelines. I cut back on dining out, channeling those savings into a diversified portfolio. There were setbacks, a market dip here, an unexpected expense there, but the long-term focus kept me steady. Today, those habits have compounded into a life of choices, not constraints. And you, start by defining your why. Why do you want wealth? Is it freedom, legacy, adventure? Write it down. Revisit it daily. Use tools like budgeting apps to track progress, celebrating milestones along the way. Analogize it to planting a garden. You don't harvest the day. After sowing, you nurture it through seasons. This mindset builds resilience against economic storms, turning temporary dips into opportunities to buy low. As these shifts interweave, abundance opening doors, investing planting seeds, and long-term vision tending the garden, you'll notice a profound change in your money habits. No longer will you chase the illusion of quick riches. Instead, you'll cultivate enduring wealth that sustains you. But here's the kicker: knowledge without action is like a car without fuel. So, I challenge you today, pick one shift and implement it this week. Rewrite that scarcity script, make your first investment, or map out your 10-year plan. The ocean of opportunity awaits, and you're no longer on the shore. Dive in, embrace these mindset shifts, and watch as your financial reality transforms. You've got the power now. Go build the wealth you deserve.